This year I had the amazing opportunity to attend the ISNA convention in Houston, Texas, and they actually had a class that I never thought ISNA would ever offer, and that was the class about suicide. Yes, I said it, suicide. They had an amazing panel of speakers coming from different parts of the state to share their insightful information about a taboo topic that we all need to kind of uncover or remove the veil and really have these honest conversation about. The talk show was about suicide and the signs, preventions, and the aftermath of suicide. And I know this is a very sensitive topic, as some of us, as we're watching the video, are probably going through it or have gone through it, or maybe sensing certain behavior shifts within your children, especially your teens, but are unaware that those might be signs that lead up to harming themselves or harming others. After attending the talk show about suicide, I approached one of the professionals by the name of Kameelah Rashad, who is the founder of MuslimWellness.com. And one of the questions I asked her, which is on the mind of a lot of Muslim teens out there, is, I am thinking about suicidal thoughts, I am feeling about harming myself or potentially harming someone else, but I am afraid to speak to the counselor at school, I'm afraid to speak to a loved one, I'm afraid to speak to a teacher, and they're kind of trapped in their own head. So what should our Muslim teens do when they're put in that position? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass the mic to the professional, Kameelah Rashad, and she is going to answer that question for us today.
That's a great question, because often the fear is either punishment or retaliation for what they're feeling. So my suggestion would be, one, if there is a counselor in school, for them to understand from that counselor's perspective, what are the limits of confidentiality? What can I disclose to you that will remain here? And what are those things that you would have to share with my parents? And that is not to kind of encourage them to withhold information, because it may be really important, right, that they share if they're having suicidal thoughts, or if they're really going through a rough time, especially if it's related to perhaps abuse or some kind of violence that they're experiencing, bullying even. But to understand, when would the counselor have to share this information, right? Because that can give, then they have more control about what they share, right? And then know the consequences or the implications of what they share. Typically, counselors will make that information very explicit, right? And if they're wanting to build a good relationship with that teen, especially, is to be transparent and to say there are certain things like, maybe you say something harmless, like you didn't finish your homework. I'm not going to tell your parents you didn't do your homework. Yeah. But if you say that you are thinking about or have a plan to hurt yourself or someone else, I will have to share that information, and here's why. Because we want to be able to build a circle of support around you so that you're always safe. And I can't do that alone. It takes a village to raise a child. Yeah. So the counselor may frame it that I want you to have access to as many people, as many friends, as many advisors, as many teachers as possible, so that we know that you're getting everything that you need in order to be safe. I don't want to be the only person making sure you're safe, right? Because you deserve more. Yeah. Framing it that way helps kind of let down their guard a little bit, so they don't feel like, well, everyone is just out to get me. I just want to share this, but I don't want to suffer consequences, right, based on whatever it is I share. But that we have a duty and kind of an obligation to make sure that they're protected, right, even from the thoughts that they may have that may be harmful. Right. So I would tell teens to, if they don't feel, right, that they can do that kind of sharing with an adult that they have kind of an immediate connection to, or maybe at the school, to call the National Suicide Hotline. It's 24/7, it's confidential. They'll talk you through, right, what it may mean for you to have these thoughts in the moment, right, whether or not you have a plan. And again, it could be that, say, a teen calls the National Suicide Hotline, and one of the recommendations may be, have you talked to anyone, right, at school about this? Have you talked to any of your friends about this? Why haven't you? What are you afraid of, right? What do you think is the worst that could happen if you talked about what's going on for you, right? Sometimes people need to hear it out loud, right? I have this fear, but I don't know exactly what it is. So I would say take advantage of kind of an anonymous resource, but also think about, I may need someone in my world who also is aware so that they can help me kind of get through it in the best possible way.
That's awesome.
Okay?
Thank you so much for your advice.
Thank you so much, Kameelah Rashad, for answering our question and giving us your honest take or outlook on this, as we know for a fact that this is a sensitive topic, but we definitely have to have these honest conversations with ourselves and those around us. So I hope that you all found this beneficial as much as I did. So thank you so much for watching this video today. I know that this topic is super sensitive and it definitely makes certain feelings rise within our hearts. It affects us, it affects our loved ones, it affects our ummah. So I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, to share it with others. That way we can empower one another with information so we can protect our Muslim youth, protect our loved ones and those around us as well. So if you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to share and spread the good deed. And I'll see you next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.